The problem with slow tests. My favorite guy, Uncle Bob. I'm Chris Athanas. I'm a KMP developer. Tech Sports said they're coming out for that on Tuesday. They really promised this time. And I'm going to be responding to Uncle Bob, my favorite guy to beat up because he's like so vague in his way he talks about things. He's like such a sales guy. He's like trying to sell us his courses or books or his circuit here, be a speaker. As Uncle Bob's coming speaking. Have a problem with slow tests. Let's see what he has to say.
Who's got tests that are running slow?
I mean, what's fast? I mean,
Shame.
is it faster than manual testing? Is it faster than me going through and checking by hand and see if I've screwed anything up? What do you mean? Are you over testing? I've seen a lot of over testing. I've seen a lot of testing of stuff like, what are you actually testing here? Like or just the database saves it. Okay. So we're testing the database? So the database library saves it? Or we're not really testing. We're testing to see if the API does what it says. Like, is this something that's going to change? Is this a problem? Maybe quit asking questions, just write the test. I'm like, all right, I'll write the test.
Shame on you. Your test should not run slow. What happens when your test
What's slow, Dr. Bob? Uncle Bob? Uncle Bob?
runs slow? You don't run them. That's right.
Well, I mean, we have to run them every time we save, maybe before we do the PR or before we check in to make sure it works. Maybe we do a partial sweep of just the area of the code I'm working on, and maybe the happy path. And then if that stuff works, like we can run that one pretty quick. But if that stuff works, then we do the full unhappy path load. I don't know. Maybe we can adjust this. Not like the whole suite or nothing. Every time you save, it's like okay.
They sit there happily saying, we are tests and we're so glad you wrote us. Would you please run us one day? And you say, no, because you're slow. And the tests say, can't you speed us up? We don't have time for you, silly tests.
Well, I mean, a lot of things are overly done. It's overdone. Let's face facts. A lot of these tests are useless. People don't know what they do anymore. Are they even useful? We don't know. But like, I'm not a fan of testing everything, but I'm a fan of testing things that that are testable, usable, useful, that may not be changing all the damn time. Like, so stuff that's not gonna change. You need to make sure it's gonna be the shape it's in. Like, I don't know. I think there's been a lot. There's overemphasis on testing and making these tests big fat because they're easy to write and they're hard to maintain.
Thank your stars we don't just delete you. How many of you have deleted tests because they're too damn slow?
I mean, it depends on the test. Depends on what it is, what's working. I don't. Sometimes you have to delete tests, but if they're running too slow, people usually just disable them. I've seen that quite a bit.
It is a design imperative that your tests run quickly. There is no excuse for...
Sounds like a drill sergeant, or he's redressing his troops or something. He's like, Patton, we shall bite them on the shores of the enemy, and we will take them to the field and make these tests run super fast. Okay.
Slow tests, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear the argument. I don't want to hear everybody saying, oh, but we've got so many. So the hell what? Do you know how fast these damn machines are running? Do you have any idea how many instructions this thing can execute per second?
It's amazing that these things are running so slowly then. Why are these IDEs so damn slow? Why can't you figure out a way to do this like on the background? So before I ask, you're already running the suite and doing the thing already without dogging my computer out, without having to recompile everything. These compilers are ridiculous. These need to be revamped, man. There's something wrong with the compilers taking minutes to do this stuff. It should be blink of an eye, just the thing you just changed, not the whole damn thing. This stuff is goofy. Come on, let's keep going.
My laptop can do 10 billion instructions per second.
Doesn't matter. We can put more slop in there that you can put hardware for. We got lots. It seems to be a trend They always want to add new features. They don't want to go out back and revamp these things. They don't want to simplify some of this stuff. They got to do backwards compatibility back to 1948.
Believe that to test your code, you need to execute more than 10 billion instructions? Does your code have 10 billion instructions in it?
Yeah. When you talk, yes. At the bottom of the thing, yeah, it does.
I think if your tests are
Sergeant.
running slowly, it's something else. Maybe you're depending on something that runs slowly, like a database or a web server.
I mean, okay, so if you have instrumented tests or end-to-end tests, I mean, you're gonna test that at some point. I mean, I'm a big fan of like gradation, but the end-to-end test, that's what your customer sees, right? You're gonna have to run that at some point. Maybe just do the happy path. Maybe not do every single unhappy path on the server. Maybe we do the unhappy path off a mock server, but maybe the happy path is on a server and that has to run. As long as what do you have a human doing it? What you have to make sure it works? What?
Maybe you're executing the same pathway over and over again. How many of you write tests that begin with login? Well, log in, then navigate, then we'll do the thing. Okay, now
the UI testing. That's people can break these things apart and do all kinds of different ways of doing stuff, but a lot of times the end systems are not set up for the testing. It's sort of like an afterthought. Like a lot of this stuff is an afterthought. It's like it's like you go, so you have a plan for this, right? It's like, no, we didn't have a plan for this. They just bolted that thing on.
the next test, log in and then navigate, and we'll do the thing. Okay, now the next test, log in and then navigate. Are you idiots?
Well, that's the problem with the person designing the test and the back end to be mockable, or we have to actually hit a server to do all the data processing, whatever, and you haven't set the server up to handle test cases efficiently. It's like, no, we only do that. That's going to be a big job. I've asked this for these places. Like, can we just set the server up to? This is when a test query comes in or a test record comes in, it has a special database. It's still on the production thing, but it's a special database that'll only for testing. We wipe it out at the end of the day. Blah blah blah. No, that's a lot of work. It's like, so we're gonna mock it out, and we don't know when we have to do manual testing on it. It takes 5 days to do it instead of an hour or 20 minutes or whatever. Well, we'll have to see next quarter if the profits are that kind of shit, man. All right, Sarge. All right, I had my piece. I'm back on Bob. Sergeant Bob. I'm gonna call him. All right, give me a like and subscribe. I'll talk to you soon.